Welcome back to our live coverage of the Mackinac Policy Conference, which is put on every year by the Detroit Regional Chamber. It is day 2 of the conference, and we're coming to you live from the Grand Hotel. We have a full agenda today that we will get to once the sessions start in just a couple of minutes. We'll be talking education today and also early childhood development. And later on today, there's going to be a debate between the top 4 mayoral candidates for the city of Detroit. So we have a lot for you here at MiVote.org or your PBS station that you're watching right now, or wherever you're watching from across the state. We thank you so much for joining us. One of the things that people are also talking about, and we talk about the future of Detroit, is a major report and a major initiative called Detroit Future City. And joining me right now is Dan Kinkead. He is the director of Detroit Future City, and also Heidi Alcock, the senior program manager. And thank you both for joining me. We so appreciate it. Now, in the bag that everyone got when they checked in, they got the big report. You can't give us the thumbnail sketch of what's in that, but really it is the strategic plan of what could come, Dan, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at its heart, what it's about is providing a framework for folks to be much more strategic and coordinated in how they do what they do every day. I mean, there's so many people, particularly here at this conference, that do incredibly important things for our region. But moving forward, we know, resources are always going to be scarce. Time's going to be scarce. We want to make sure that every investment, every drop of sweat that's made can be as coordinated as possible to maximize the impact, right? And so that one action that's taken actually has a ripple effect that's manifold across a number of different fronts.
You know, it's interesting that you bring that up because so many people do have many different agendas and they're working on so many different projects to try to coordinate that to make sure that when we're reinventing Detroit, that we're doing it in the right way possible. Heidi, this seems like it's going to take so many years, and for people who want to see immediate action, is it difficult to explain to them that this is a project of magnitude?
Listen, we're going to do things. People are doing things. I think it is a question of, can we do the things that we're doing better? Can we be more strategic? Can we be more coordinated? As Dan said, can we have each action that we take today leave a legacy? So it's not just about the thing we do today, but it's about how that thing connects to other things that are really going to create long-term sustainability for the city. So I think it is harnessing the energy. It is about acting now. It's just about acting more thoughtfully and together instead of in silos.
Yeah.
So Dan, take me through the process. Where are we now, and what are our next steps here?
Yeah, well, after 3 years of development of the framework, we're at a real critical turning point, right, where we're moving into implementation. And Heidi and I, you're actually catching us in our 4th week into our leadership positions here. We're incredibly excited. I mean, we've invested a lot of our time, our careers into this, and we've actually, left our past jobs to take on these roles. So as we do that, we're working to establish our own staff, confirm budgets, actually identify a space for ourselves. But as we do it too, we have a really robust schedule of interaction with different partners along the way to make sure we understand out of the gate how we can work with them to fulfill some of the larger objectives for the framework today, knowing that also that can plant seeds down the road. So you're going to see from us also things coming out in the near future that cover a range of new projects and actions, right? We're going to be continuing a lot of the really solid engagement work that Heidi began previously, and we're also going to be pushing on a lot of fronts relative to policy change.
I love that you brought up engagement, because I wanted to ask you, Heidi, this was really a labor of love in talking to people who are in the city. Instead of making decisions about where people live without consulting them, you went to neighborhood groups, and you spent a year or more talking to people. And what were they really telling you?
It's really interesting. We had contact with over 160,000 individuals in this process, and it was really amazing. I think what people told us is a couple of things. Number one, they want to be a part of the solution. They don't want things happening to them. They have ideas, and often their ideas are the best ideas. So how do we create a process where the framework informs what they're doing, informs their own actions and decisions, and also maybe helps them think about things beyond, sort of the traditional realm? I think moving forward, people do want to see action, though. And what we really want to do in our engagement process this summer as we ramp it back up is to figure out, how do we help produce tools and resources so that the plan is really helping other people in their own action, but also how do we enlist help? How do we give folks a real meaningful role in the actions that we're going to be taking right now?
Dan, would you say that this is probably the most ambitious urban replanning, or how would you even describe this in the country?
You know, I don't know if it's the most ambitious, but I can tell you that we feel that it's the most comprehensive in its scope and its nature. It's also something that's probably the most grounded in community feedback that's ever happened. If nothing else, this will go down as a landmark in participatory planning, contributing so many different voices to where we go, and also making sure that they're at the table to help us, you know, take action moving out into the future. And the bottom line is, look, we are in an incredible moment. Yes, we have an emergency manager in place. Yes, the city is fiscally insolvent. Mayor is going to be elected this fall, council by districts. Now, a lot of things are changing, and those things can be perceived as challenges, but we think we have an incredible opportunity to seize this moment to change the long-term trajectory of our city. We feel that in our hearts, and so we want to work with everybody to begin to make that transition, right, and work together to get out to that long-term benefit. It's going to take a long time. We didn't get here overnight. We won't get out of it overnight, but we can start today.
Will an emergency manager affect anything that you're doing?
It might in certain ways, but look, you know, when we started this project, we were presupposing where the city was fiscally. We knew we had incredible challenges. We knew whether you put a label on it or not that we were fiscally insolvent. And so for us, it really, what we've done is provide a playbook for a lot of different contributors, a lot of different stakeholders, including an emergency manager, including the governor, including council members, right? Everybody can, and every resident too, right? Everybody can participate in this, and everybody can utilize it. So we look forward to having conversations with folks like the emergency managers. So.
Okay, Heidi, last word from you. Where do you want to be in about a year?
A home, a physical location, fully operational staff, an identified portfolio of projects with lots of partnerships built around those projects. I think we want to be talking about tax foreclosure and some of the things that have time cycles that we need to plug into. I think we want to be very clear about who we are, what we're doing, and just moving forward. You know,
I think it's a fascinating process, and I hope that we can kind of go step by step with you. I'd love to keep following up and talking to you as this evolves. I think it could be a wonderful time for the city. Thank you so much. Heidi Alcock, Dan Kinkead, Detroit Future City, we appreciate your time.